The red pill promises freedom, but delivers a gilded cage. It's a siren song luring men with the promise of ultimate understanding of women and guaranteed success in the treacherous world of dating. Have you ever felt lost, confused, utterly rejected, as if women operate by an alien code you can't crack? The red pill, the Manosphere, they swoop in offering answers, a seemingly scientific system to conquer the dating game. It whispers of alpha males and beta males, of female hypergamy, the supposed innate drive of women to seek out the best possible mate, and of strategies to exploit this truth. It sounds empowering, doesn't it? A roadmap to finally winning the game you've been losing. But I'm here to tell you, this promised land is a mirage. It's a meticulously constructed illusion, a beautifully decorated prison that trades genuine connection for a hollow semblance of control. My purpose today is not to simply dismiss, but to dissect, to tear down the walls of this ideology brick by bloody brick. We're going to delve into the darkest corners of the red pill, exposing its limitations, revealing the profound harm it can inflict, not just on the women it objectifies, but on the men who swallow it whole. We're going to examine how its rigid rules and manipulative tactics actually sabotage the very thing it promises: fulfilling relationships. And most importantly, I'm going to show you a different path, a path to true, lasting power, not through dominance and deception, but through radical self-acceptance, authentic connection, and the unwavering courage to be vulnerable. Prepare yourself, because this is going to be a brutal, unflinching look at the reality behind the red pill's seductive lies. And it begins with understanding why it's so damn appealing in the first place. The seductive siren song of certainty. Have you ever felt like you were drowning in a sea of rejection, tossed about by the unpredictable waves of the dating world? It's terrifying, isn't it? Like you're lost at sea without a compass, desperately searching for any sign of land. That's where the red pill comes in, a blaring foghorn promising salvation, a supposed lighthouse in the storm of female desire. It's a life raft in a sea of dating confusion, a supposed treasure map in the treacherous, supposedly uncharted territory of female desire. But I'm here to tell you, it's a siren song luring you to the rocks. Let's dissect this so-called wisdom, shall we? First, the cornerstone, alpha-beta dynamics. It's a brutal, simplistic hierarchy, isn't it? Men are divided into dominant alphas, who supposedly effortlessly attract women, and subservient betas, destined for the friend zone, or even worse, a life of quiet desperation. This binary is intoxicating to men who feel they've been failing with women. It offers an explanation, however flawed, for their perceived failures. You're not flawed, you're just a beta. Become an alpha, and all your problems will vanish. It's a dangerous oversimplification of the rich tapestry of human personality. the societal equivalent of classifying all men as either Conan the Barbarian or Woody Allen. Absurd, right? Then comes the insidious concept of female hypergamy. The idea that women are biologically programmed to seek out the best possible mate, constantly trading up, always on the hunt for a higher status man. This is presented as an immutable law of nature, a primal urge women supposedly cannot control. It's a terrifying prospect for men, isn't it? It fuels the fear that they're never good enough, that they're constantly being evaluated and judged, always at risk of being discarded for a better model. It paints women as ruthless social climbers, driven solely by status and resources, devoid of genuine emotional connection. Do you really believe that? And what about the wall? This vile concept suggests that women's attractiveness and desirability plummet after a certain age, typically around 30. It's a ticking time bomb planted in the minds of women, a constant pressure to secure a man before their supposed expiration date. For men, it fosters a sense of urgency, a frantic scramble to lock down a woman before she hits this imaginary wall and becomes, in their eyes, undesirable. It's ageist, misogynistic, and utterly dehumanizing, reducing women to their perceived reproductive value. It's like saying a fine wine turns to vinegar overnight. Utter nonsense. Finally, we have dread game, the deliberate creation of insecurity and anxiety in a woman to make her more compliant and dependent. This includes techniques like withdrawing attention, flirting with other women, and generally acting aloof and unpredictable. It's emotional manipulation, pure and simple. It's playing on a woman's vulnerabilities to gain control. It's the behavior of a puppeteer, not a partner. It's about as ethical as poisoning a well to control the water supply. All of these red pill tenets offer one seductive thing: certainty. In a world of bewildering complexity, they provide a seemingly simple framework, a rigid set of rules that promise to unlock the secrets of female attraction. They offer the illusion of control, the tantalizing promise that if you just follow the rules, you can guarantee success with women. But this certainty is a mirage, a shimmering illusion in the desert. It's a gilded cage, offering the appearance of freedom while trapping men in a rigid, toxic mindset. It provides a paint-by-numbers approach to human interaction, stripping away all the beauty, spontaneity, and genuine connection that make relationships worthwhile. It's like trying to understand a symphony. By looking at a single musical note, you're missing the entire masterpiece. And that, my friend, is the dangerous, seductive lie at the heart of the red pill. The cracks in the armor, toxic masculinity, and the distortion of self. Imagine a knight encased in impenetrable steel. He looks invincible, doesn't he? Untouchable. But what if that armor, forged in the fires of the red pill's warped ideology, starts to constrict? What if it becomes so tight, so unyielding, that it begins to suffocate the very man inside. That, my friend, is the insidious reality of toxic masculinity festering within the red pill framework. It's a suit of armor that suffocates the man inside. The red pill, with its relentless drumbeat of dominance, emotional suppression, and bare-lecontained aggression, creates a caricature of a man. It screams, "Be alpha." But what is this alpha? It's a Frankensteinian monster, stitched together from outdated stereotypes and insecurities. It's the man who believes vulnerability is weakness, that expressing any emotion other than anger is a betrayal of his masculinity. He's the alpha who can't cry at a funeral, who can't admit he's wrong, who can't ask for help even when his world is crumbling around him. He is emotionally constipated, incapable of processing or expressing the full spectrum of human experience. This isn't strength. It's a self-imposed prison of stoicism, a crippling fear masquerading as power. Think about it. The constant pressure to dominate, to be in control, to never show weakness. This isn't a path to self-improvement. It's a recipe for emotional retardation. It fosters a chilling detachment, a disconnection not just from others, but from oneself. The man becomes a stranger to his own heart, unable to navigate the complexities of his inner world. How can he possibly connect authentically with others, with women, when he's at war with his own emotions? He can't. He is lost. And what about the relationships, the supposed prizes the red pill promises? These become warped, transactional, devoid of genuine intimacy. The red pill man doesn't see women as partners to be cherished, to be understood, to be loved in their full, glorious complexity. No, he sees them as trophies to be won, conquests to be added to his list, notches on his bedpost. He views relationships as a power struggle, a constant battle for dominance, where vulnerability is a weapon to be exploited, not a bridge to be built. He objectifies, he manipulates, he plays the game, all the while missing the very essence of human connection, genuine, reciprocal love and respect. He is living a lie. Consider the man who religiously follows the dread game, deliberately creating emotional distance to manipulate his partner into seeking his validation. He's building his relationship on a foundation of insecurity and fear, not love and trust. This isn't strength. It's the desperate flailing of a man terrified of genuine intimacy. It's the behavior of a boy, not a man. It's pathetic. This relentless pursuit of an unattainable and frankly undesirable ideal of alpha masculinity leaves a trail of destruction. Damaged relationships, stunted emotional growth, and a profound sense of isolation are the inevitable consequences. It's a high price to pay for the illusion of control. The red pill man, trapped in his suffocating armor, believes he's powerful, but he's nothing more than a prisoner of his own making, chained to a distorted, toxic version of masculinity. He is doomed to fail. Isn't that horrifying? Doesn't that make you want to scream? the game of shadows, manipulation, deception, and the erosion of trust. Let's delve into the abyss, shall we? The Red Pill community, in its relentless pursuit of conquest, often advocates a chilling arsenal of manipulative tactics. These aren't just harmless techniques, they are psychological weapons designed to exploit vulnerabilities and engineer a desired outcome. We're talking about a meticulously crafted theater of cruelty, masquerading as dating advice. Think of negging, for instance. It's not just playful teasing, as some apologists might claim. It is a calculated, insidious attempt to undermine a woman's self-esteem, making her crave validation from the very person delivering the insult. It's like injecting a slow-acting poison into her confidence, leaving her dependent on the antidote only he can provide. Picture a venomous snake, subtly injecting its venom, weakening its prey before the final strike. It's a power play, pure and simple, designed to establish an immediate imbalance, with the man holding all the cards. How utterly disgusting, right? And then there's the infamous dread game. This isn't about honest communication or expressing one's needs. It's about deliberately creating anxiety and insecurity in a partner by withdrawing affection, feigning disinterest, or even flirting with others. Imagine the sheer, calculated coldness of it. It's weaponized emotional unavailability, designed to trigger a woman's attachment system and make her cling harder, desperately trying to regain the initial high of the relationship. It's like holding a starving dog just out of reach of a bone, watching it grovel and beg. The goal: to establish absolute control, to make her feel like she is the one who needs to earn his approval. It's a masterclass in emotional sadism, isn't it? And let's not forget the wider world of pickup artistry, PUA techniques, often steeped in the red pill ideology. These range from prescripted routines designed to create a false sense of connection to elaborate psychological manipulations aimed at lowering a woman's defenses and making her more susceptible to advances. It's a meticulously choreographed deception, a performance designed to exploit predictable patterns of human behavior. Imagine a spider patiently weaving its intricate web, luring its prey with shimmering strands of deceit, only to ensnare and devour it. They're not building relationships, they're running elaborate con games, with women as the unwitting marks. It is, without exaggeration, a form of emotional warfare. These men see women not as individuals with their own desires and feelings, but as targets to be conquered, puzzles to be solved, objects to be manipulated. The ethical implications of these strategies are staggering. They are built on a foundation of disrespect, a fundamental denial of a woman's autonomy and inherent worth. They reduce human interaction to a zero-sum game, where one person's win is necessarily the other person's loss. Can genuine connection, built on mutual respect and trust, possibly sprout from such poisoned soil? Absolutely not. It's like trying to build a magnificent castle on a foundation of quicksand. It's destined to collapse. The long-term consequences are equally devastating. Not only do these tactics damage the women subjected to them, leaving lasting scars of insecurity and mistrust, but they also corrupt the men who employ them. They become trapped in a cycle of manipulation, unable to form genuine connections, forever chasing the fleeting validation of conquest. They become hollow shells, devoid of empathy, incapable of love. It's a self-inflicted wound, a slow and agonizing descent into emotional bankruptcy. The inherent disrespect is palpable. Women are dehumanized, reduced to objects for gratification, mere pawns in a sick game of dominance. Can genuine connection be built on a foundation of deceit? It's a rhetorical question, of course. The answer is a resounding, earth-shattering no. Beyond the binary, embracing complexity and nuance. Forget the simplistic, childish dichotomy of alpha and beta. That's a red pill fairy tale, a cartoonish simplification of the magnificent, messy tapestry of human existence. Do you really believe that all men, in their infinite variety, can be crammed into two ridiculously restrictive boxes? It's insulting. It's intellectual laziness. The red pill peddles this black and white, zero-sum game, turning relationships into a brutal, cutthroat competition. But life, and especially love, isn't a battlefield where one side must conquer and the other must submit. It's not a goddamn war. They tell you about female hypergamy, painting women as these gold-digging, status-obsessed creatures constantly scanning the horizon for a better option. They terrify you with tales of the wall, claiming women's attractiveness plummets after a certain age, turning them into undesirable hags. Is that the respect you harbor for your mothers, sisters, or potential life partners? To reduce them to biological clocks and ruthless social climbers. It's a grotesque distortion, a funhouse mirror reflecting the insecurities of the men who buy into it. Real attraction, genuine connection, is a swirling nebula of factors, a kaleidoscope of individual preferences and desires that defy any rigid categorization. It's not a mathematical equation where alpha traits plus high value equals guaranteed sex and submission. It's an art, a dance, a subtle interplay of personality, chemistry, and shared values. Are you so insecure that you need a prepackaged formula to navigate this? Do you lack the courage to discover the unique beauty and complexity of each individual woman? Think of it. What about the shy artist who finds solace in quiet strength? What about the fiercely independent businesswoman who values intellectual connection above all else? What about the compassionate nurse who cherishes empathy and vulnerability? Are these women somehow exceptions, to the red pill rule? Or are they living proof that the rule is a lie, a flimsy construct designed to control you by preying on your fears? The red pill's obsession with rigid gender roles is a relic of a bygone era, a desperate attempt to cling to outdated power structures. It demands men be stoic robots, devoid of emotion, and women be submissive dolls, devoid of agency. This isn't strength, it's a pathetic caricature. It's a performance. True strength lies in embracing the full spectrum of human experience, in allowing yourself to feel, to connect, to be vulnerable. Yes, vulnerable. Because without vulnerability, there is no trust, and without trust, there is no genuine intimacy. Instead of viewing relationships as a battlefield, imagine them as a garden. A garden requires nurturing, careful attention, and a deep understanding of the individual plants within it. Some need more sunlight, others more shade. Some thrive with constant attention, others need space to grow. You can't force a rose to bloom by yelling at it, by imposing your will upon it. You have to cultivate the soil, provide the right nutrients, and allow it to unfold in its own time, in its own way. The same is true of relationships. They require empathy, understanding, and a willingness to listen, not just to dictate. So I ask you, with searing honesty, are you going to continue to see the world through the distorted lens of the red pill, reducing the breathtaking complexity of human interaction to a crude game of dominance and submission? Or are you going to embrace the challenge of genuine connection, of seeing women and men as individuals, each with their own unique desires, dreams, and vulnerabilities? Will you choose the path of control or the path of authentic connection, born of mutual respect and unwavering self-awareness? The path to authentic power, self-mystery, not female mastery. Forget the twisted, pathetic obsession with controlling women. True power, the kind that resonates with a force that bends reality to your will, comes from mastering yourself. It's not about manipulating some poor, unsuspecting woman into submission. It's about forging yourself into an unbreakable force of nature. Are you ready to finally cast off the shackles of weakness and embrace the relentless path of the truly dominant male? We're not talking about nice guy platitudes here. This isn't some touchy-feely, self-help garbage. This is about building a life of raw, unadulterated power. A life so compelling that women and everyone else are drawn to you like moths to a blazing inferno. Forget the red pill's desperate pursuit of female validation. We're aiming for something infinitely greater: absolute self-reliance. First, cultivate ruthless emotional intelligence. Don't mistake this for weakness. This isn't about becoming a whimpering, emotional mess. It's about understanding the dark, swirling currents of your own emotions and those of others, and then using that knowledge to navigate the world with surgical precision. Learn to identify and dismantle your own limiting beliefs, the insidious whispers that tell you you're not good enough. Recognize them, dissect them, and then crush them. This is war, and your own mind is the battlefield. Second, develop unbreakable communication skills. Not just communication, but the power of command. Learn to speak with such unwavering conviction that your words become undeniable truths. Master the art of persuasion, not through slimy manipulation, but through sheer force of presence and ironclad logic. Think of the ancient orators, capable of swaying entire nations with the power of their voices. That is the level you must strive for. Imagine having every single person in a room hanging onto your words with a burning desire. Isn't it breathtaking? Third, ignite your life with consuming passions. What sets your soul on fire? What makes you leap out of bed in the morning, ready to conquer the world? Find it, cultivate it, and pursue it with a ferocity that borders on obsession. This isn't about finding a hobby. It's about discovering your purpose, the reason you were put on this earth. A man without purpose is like a ship without a rudder, adrift at sea. A man with purpose is a force of nature, unstoppable and undeniable. Are you a weakling or a god? Fourth, build a life overflowing with meaning. A life so rich and full that it spills over and infects everyone around you. This isn't about chasing fleeting pleasures. It's about creating something lasting, something that will echo through eternity. Become a pillar of your community, a leader of men, a force for good, or if it suits your nature, a force of controlled chaos. The choice is yours, but choose boldly. You are not a pirate, seeking to plunder the emotional treasures of others, leaving a trail of broken hearts in your wake. You are the captain of your own ship, charting a course through the treacherous waters of life, guided by your own internal compass. You're not wielding a rusty cutlass, attempting to hack and slash your way to success in relationships. You are forging your own sword of self-respect, a weapon tempered in the fires of self-discipline and honed to razor sharpness. You will use it not to attack, but to defend your boundaries, to protect your values, and to carve your own destiny into the very fabric of reality. No more weakness, no more compromise, only unwavering strength and absolute self-mastery. Are you ready to seize that power, to become the ultimate version of yourself, a man who commands respect and admiration, not through manipulation, but through the sheer force of his being? The choice, as always, is yours, but choose wisely, because your entire future hangs in the balance. Become unstoppable, at any cost, by any means necessary. Absolutely crush all obstacles and show them the man you've been hammering in the forge of your will. This is your moment. Are you ready to take the lead? Break free from the shackles of the red pill. I'm screaming it from the rooftops. Escape. Cast off the chains of this twisted ideology. It's a siren song, a seductive whisper promising you the keys to the kingdom, the secrets to unlocking women, but it delivers nothing but a hollow, gilded cage. Embrace the challenge, the terrifying and exhilarating challenge of genuine self-discovery. Forge a new path, a path paved not with manipulation and deceit, but with respect, raw authenticity, and yes, even love, a concept the red pill scoffs at as weakness. The red pill promises freedom, doesn't it? It shouts about escaping the matrix, about becoming an alpha, about taking what's yours. But I tell you, it delivers a cage built of rigid rules, of paranoid suspicions, of contempt for anything perceived as feminine. It's a prison of your own making, patrolled by the ghosts of your own insecurities. True freedom, real power, that's not found in some prepackaged formula for dominance. It lies in choosing a different path. It's about unwavering self-respect, born not from putting others down, but from lifting yourself up. It's about forging a connection, a genuine connection, not the shallow, transactional interactions the red pill promotes. It's about daring to be vulnerable, to be honest, to be real, even when it's terrifying. Dare to forge that path. It's a path that demands everything from you, demands that you confront your shadows, your weaknesses, your fears. It's the hero's journey, not the villain's script. It's a path where you look in the mirror and see not a predator, but a man of integrity. A man who is strong enough to be honest. A man who is bold enough to be kind. A man who seeks not to control, but to connect. So I ask you, I implore you, I challenge you. Will you choose the illusion of control, the fleeting, hollow satisfaction of manipulation, the cold comfort of the red pill's gilded cage? Or will you embrace the challenging, the terrifying, the ultimately rewarding path of authentic power? A power that comes not from dominating others, but from mastering yourself. Will you remain a prisoner, or will you become the king of your own life? A king who rules with wisdom, compassion, and unshakable self-respect.